this episode, welcome back our best losers, the 4 mutineers. Now today the guys have a dodgy old motor, a water cooler and a tin of paint. And over the next 8 hours, their test is to produce a paint spraying device good enough to cover these huge factory doors from top to bottom. And guys, no drips, okay? Right, are you ready? Because when that red light turns to green, you have to run to those workshop benches. In 3, 2, 1, open sesame! As the 2 teams race to their respective workshops, let's remind ourselves of the rules. Both sides have a car and a water cooler each, and both have identical sets of tools. But as always, they set about the task in very different ways. The Blues go for the practical approach and straight away start dismantling their machines in search of inspiration. The Reds take the academic route. So who will have the early advantage? Let's meet the teams.
Start. We need hose, pump, power.
Disappointed with that. Hi, my name's Des Marsh. I'm in the motor trade, and in my spare time, I race bangers.
My name's Albert Streeter. I come from Burton-on-Trent. I work with special needs children, and in my spare time, I keep fit.
Hello there, I'm Tony Geary. I'm one of the 4 mutineers. I live in Burton-on-Trent and I work in retail. My hobbies are banger racing and fishing.
Hi, my name's Martin. I come from Burton-on-Trent. I'm a motor vehicle mechanic and I love banger racing.
Ah, thirsty are we, boys? OK, what's the plan here?
The plan is to have pressure pipes coming into here to pump from the engine, a pipe coming from the bottom and then spraying from there.
Pressurise this.
Paint's thicker than water. Is that going to pose a problem?
No, because that's emulsion, so we can thin that down anyway.
Yeah, but a drip then, wasn't on drip really.
Yeah. Points are deducted for drips and streaks.
Oh dear,
I forgot to tell you that. Seriously, do you think that will pose a problem? And you're seriously going to water it down?
Seriously, I think we've got a leak.
I don't think there's enough paint there to do the door anyway, so we're going to have to water it down to cover the door. So I don't think that'll cause too much of a problem.
It's going to be trial and error in to get the right consistency. To actually it'll actually feed through under pressure and then go through the pipe work.
Yeah, and no lumpy bits as well.
No lumpy
you want
bits.
to thin
We'll
it down
have to
enough
sieve
to
it
get
out,
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably make a little sieve out or something.
Somebody will have to taking the tights off.
Don't look at me.
Mark Newman, age 24, sheet metal worker, and I love fishing.
Hi, I'm Chris Greenwood. I'm from Burton-on-Trent. I work in the IT industry and I like to travel for a hobby.
My name's Tony Phillips. I'm from Burton-upon-Trent. I'm a sheet metal worker and I go hunting for a hobby.
My name's Graham. I have a business in Birmingham and my family's my hobby.
Well, it looks like the blue team have gone straight in for the kill. Not took you long to dissect this, has it?
No, not really.
What's the plan then, lads?
Not quite sure yet. Just seeing what we've got to work with.
OK. Have you ever had a look inside a water cooler before?
No, not to this depth, no. They look nicer when they're on the wall, don't they?
They do, yeah, especially when you're thirsty. Now, this wise gentleman over here looks as though he knows what he's doing.
No, I don't.
No?
That's a compressor, so we know that.
Yeah.
We've just got to now decide how we can mount it in the car.
OK.
Use it.
And you know we've got a load of old junk outside?
Yeah, no, we're aware of that, yeah.
OK. Well, just let me tell you that the red team have already gone in there.
Yeah.
And they'll be picking out the shiniest bits. So
We'll
you don't want sloppy
find
seconds.
what we'll need. We'll
We'll get there. We'll get there.
And they've been here before, by the way. They've got a bit of experience,
know
all
what
right? They know. They know that if you don't get your hands on those vital little bits and pieces before the other team, then you won't get your hands on them at all. So the Reds are outside scavenging for spares amongst the growing pile of machinery discarded in previous shows. But the Blues soon catch on. Quite wide Why this section of exhaust pipe is so valuable to the bushwhackers is anyone's guess. Time to bring in the Mutant Machine's resident technical expert, Professor Martin Smith of the Technology Innovation Centre. Well, Prof, there's nothing small about these factory doors. They're going to take a hell of a lot of painting.
They are, aren't they? They're going to need a good spray gun for these.
Oh, yeah. Now, show us how, essentially, how a spray gun works.
OK, well, a spray gun takes in air and a pump compresses the air. The compressed air goes through the filter to remove all the oil and dust and so forth from the air. And the clean air goes into a reservoir which damps out the pulsations of air coming out of the pump. And then that pressurized, smooth pressure air goes through a long tube and into a gun. And the spray gun mixes the air that comes out of one nozzle with the paint that comes out of the other nozzle, and the effect of the two nozzles close together atomizes the paint. It converts it into little droplets which come out of the spray gun and land onto the doors.
Oh, you make it sound so simple.
It's not so easy to build one.
Which is exactly what the Reds are rapidly discovering. They're testing the idea of using one of their Metro's 4 cylinders as a pump by removing a spark plug and replacing it with this hose. Only trouble is, the engine doesn't run quite so smoothly on the remaining 3 cylinders, and in any case, the pressure's not that great. Next door, the Blues are also using the compression of the engine, but instead of taking it directly from the cylinder head, they've extended their exhaust with the section of pipe they recovered from the wreck outside. Then they're going to use the back pressure in the tailpipe to fill this holding tank, being fabricated from an old piece of steel tube. It'll be pressurised with compressed exhaust gases supplied via a garden hose. It's a neat idea and is prompting interest from the opposition. But which is best? Well, after chatting to both teams, the Professor has put pen to paper and illustrated the team's plans. Start with the red team, Prof.
OK, well, what the red team are going to do is they're going to use one of the cylinders of the car and disconnect the normal inlet manifold and exhaust manifold, and the air is going to be sucked into the cylinder of the car. The paint is going to be sucked into the cylinder with the air, and as the piston goes up and down, it's going to force the air, the paint and air mixture out through the hose and through this nozzle, and we're going to get a sort of jet of almost neat paint coming out of the nozzle.
Well, that's the plan, and hopefully a jet and not a great big drip. Let's take a look at the blue team.
I'll do the great big drip. Now, the blue team have tried something completely different, which is interesting. They're going to use the exhaust pipe to get pressure. Instead of using air, they're going to use exhaust. No reason why not. And so they've connected a tube onto the exhaust pipe. They've got a reservoir, a sort of tank, storage tank, to take out the pressure fluctuations in the exhaust. And then we've got this high pressure air going into a pot of paint, and that's going to blow neat paint through this nozzle. Again, spraying neat paint onto the door.
With their own plan stalling, literally, the 4 mutineers decide that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
We're lost.
After a quick board meeting, they decide to abandon the cylinder pump plan and, like the Blues, go for an exhaust-powered pump, providing Des can find the bits they need outside in the yard. Now then, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Why?
Well, apparently there's been a little bit of what they call industrial espionage going on.
What does that mean, then?
Well, don't try and deny it, because we know that you've had a change of plan. You see, originally your power source was coming from under the bonnet from the engine, and then all of a sudden you've gone to the rear of the car and you're taking your source from the exhaust. Now, someone else is doing that. They're called the blue team, your opposition.
Yeah, but we're not copying, because we thought of that first.
No, you didn't.
We did.
Well, why did you take it from under the bonnet?
Because that's the way Martin wanted to do it, I think.
Now, don't fit
Serious?
We've got, the camera never lies, we've got photographic evidence of you popping your head over the wall and taking a sneaky peek at what the blue team are up to.
No, I ain't been doing anything. I've just been watching. I haven't been doing anything else.
Look look at the guilt on his face.
Stop filming now.
He's embarrassed.
I am,
yeah. Go on, get back to work. Copycats, copycats. Mind you, Des and his mates aren't entirely devoid of originality, and to make up for their blatant disregard of the copyright laws, they've come up with a novel way of making sure their spray operator can reach the very top of those factory doors. Now then, lads, it looks like we're on an entirely different project here. It's a giant catapult we're building. What's this for?
For the presenter.
I knew I was going to get it one day. Come on, seriously, who's going to sit in there?
Modern day ladder, that is.
Right, OK, so this is your way of reaching to the top of the...
To the top of the doors, yeah.
Ah, you going to sit in it?
No way, no. Alberto's volunteered. He doesn't know it yet, but he's volunteered.
You've got a wooden frame. Is that going to be strong enough to take a person's weight?
Hopefully, yeah. If not, we'll have to put the lightest member of the team on.
Oh. Well, what's the plan? You're going to attach it to the roof?
Attach it to the roof and make it virtually a seesaw.
Really? Oh my God, so show us how it's going to work then. Come on. So it's going to go on here?
That's going to go on here. The seat will be at the very top up there.
Yeah.
We've got some weight at the very back for ballast, and then we'll just pull them down and they'll go right up. He'll do his painting and we'll lower him down.
Hey, I like it. What are you going to use as ballast?
The wheels,
okay.
And just big chunks of metal, really.
Right. So you're going to have two men on one end as well, kind of balancing it all.
That's it, yeah.
One dummy.
One dummy
Dare I
sat at the front.
Crash test dummy on the end.
You got it.
With a paintbrush. I like it. Clever boys. It's time to take a tea break, but we'll be back in a few moments' time when we find out which team is in line to take the makeover crown in our ultimate automotive spray-off. Welcome back to Mutant Machines and our door-to-door spray-offs. The red and blue teams are both busy building inside the workshop an ultimate automotive spraying device. We've only got 4 hours left to go and they have to cover those huge factory doors. Question is, will it be a whitewash or a washout? At this stage, my money's on a washout. The four mutineers aren't having much luck with their spray gun made from an old windscreen washer bottle. Guys, can I just say, that was pathetic. Wow. That looked like a weak snowstorm. We want a blizzard, a high-pressure blizzard. Come on, get with it.
This is only prototype in a minute. We're just going to figure out the final spray of it now. We just want to see if it, we've got enough pressure there.
Not off enough pressure by the looks of it. But the Reds are ahead of the bushwhackers. The Blues have spent a lot of time making a reservoir to smooth out the pressure fluctuations from the exhaust. And they've spent even longer mounting it on the roof, with valves and pipes filched from a hay baler out in the yard. Still, at least it looks like it works, which is more than can be said for their spray gun. They're making it from some small bore copper they found in the water cooler, together with a radiator expansion tank from a car. On the first attempt, they get nothing at all. On the second, a dribble. And then a flood, but not quite the way they'd anticipated.
No, that's not working, Tony. No.
I don't think that's working very well.
We don't put air and then paint out the bottom.
All right.
Into the tank at the top and the paint out the
So
bottom.
what went wrong? Time to bring in, once again, Professor Martin Smith.
Now, what they were doing was they were taking the paint that's in here and taking the paint into a pipe like this. So the air was coming from the exhaust. They've got a nozzle there to let the paint and air out. And what they were hoping was that the movement of the air across this pipe from the expansion tank would suck the paint out and blow the paint through there.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, the theory is not quite correct. And what happened was the pressure of the air pushed the paint right up through the little hole in the expansion tank, and the poor guy got covered in green paint.
And caused a fountain effect.
That's right.
Okay.
What they should have done, if they're going to use that technique, the correct way is to have a restriction here, rather like you have in a carburettor. And what happens is the air rushing through this restriction, the air speeds up. It has to speed up in order to go through the restriction. As the air speeds up, the pressure drops, and that sucks the petrol in a normal car, or the paint, we hope in this case, into the airstream, and that goes out.
It's a complicated and messy solution, so the blues switch pipes over so that the paint is forced out of the expansion tank and into the nozzle. Or, at least that's the theory.
They scrapped this idea, and they've got the exhaust gas going in there. They've sealed up the expansion tank hole. They've got the paint being pushed by the pressure of the exhaust straight out of the outlet, and there's the nozzle there, and they're just blowing neat paint onto their test area.
That's better.
Better, maybe, but not as good as the red sprayer. Mind you, not everything's going as well for them. Definitely not the patent seesaw mechanism designed to reach the parts that other sprayers just can't reach. Certainly the professor reckons the blue team's two-tier platform looks a safer bet. It's even going to have a handrail, which is a big improvement on the ducking stool next door. Who's going to sit in there? Who's going to be daft enough?
We've got Tony to sit in there.
Oh, he's the lightest, is he?
And Martin's going to drive.
Yeah.
And the muscles of me and me and Des are going to steer from the back to support him from up and down.
How do we think this is going to hold up, right? Because it looks a bit dodgy to me. The splinters, look here.
Yeah,
it's looking a bit weak.
It should hold, because he's the lightest, so...
Tony, did you hear that? It should hold. I think we better put a safety net underneath just in case, or he might end up falling through the sunroof. And, OK, we've not got long to go now. A few finishing touches and sweep the floor, and we're ready for the spray-offs, yeah?
Excellent.
Cool. Well, normally at this hour of the day I'd be calling time, but both teams have finished with still 1 hour to go, so I guess I won't be needing this anymore. The time has come and the doors are now ready to be sprayed. All the teams have to do is to drive their automotive spraying machines in front of those huge doors and assume their positions. Guys, start your engines. Guys, are you ready? Because the winners will be the team who can cover those factory doors in the quickest possible time. Remember, no brushes or rollers, just your automotive spraying devices. OK, I think I better get out of the way because it's time for these guys to spray. Off you go!
Fill it right up. Ramp it up. Okay, stop, air, tight. Yeah, just, yeah, no, give me that. So give me, no, I need some pressure, give us some pressure. Hey, you're next bit at the top, Rick. Okay, there. Okay. Top up. Pressure. No pressure. Top up.
Yes, where are you? Pardon me. Hold on to the law.
We have a winner! Guys, team, stop what you're doing or we're all going to be green and white.
Congratulations, mate.
Well, a fantastic win there by the blue team. Guys, well done. Now you got off to a slow start, but where did all that power come from all of a sudden?
We found out we had a bit of a flow problem, so we did a little bit of online modification and it made a big difference.
It certainly did, yeah. You had a good day?
Very good. It's worth
Excellent.
coming.
And this was the driver, Graham. You did a top job there. Pedal to the metal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you're chuffed, are you, Mark?
Yes, I'm absolutely ecstatic about it.
Nice one. OK, well, it's time to spray that champagne. Before you do that, just shake hands here with our gallant losers. Boys, you did a fine job, but you didn't quite make it today, did you? No worries. Well, it's time for those champagne corks to start popping. And don't forget, join us next time for the first of our quarter-finals here on Mutant Machine. See you then.
Oh, no, Mark. That's it. That. Last time I've got it. Stayed in action. 1, 2.
I was just testing you. Where did I get the Buccaneers from? I've been watching too much telly.
The rules, as ever, are simple. The two teams have identical workshops equipped with everything from spanners and sockets to hammers and hacksaws.
What a good start.
They've just 8 hours to create a concrete churning contraption capable of mixing a barrel load of sand, cement and gravel in the quickest possible time. And they'll be judged on quality as well as quantity.
But that might be the one to take, because
we do need to
driving the wheels, look, through this section. So
that'd be slower.
That would probably be slower.
And it'll be controlled by something like that.
And we'd have to turn the engine over.
The obvious solution would be to use the engine from the lawnmower to turn the drum from the washer-dryer. But, as we've already seen on Mutant Machines, obvious isn't always best.
I mean, for the speed of the wheels?
Yeah.
Because, like,
the red student dregs start pulling their machine apart from the word go. The blues adopt a more measured approach at the drawing board.
Started from the drum. The drum has to tip, it has to be able to spin, and then put the drive, then put the motor on. You know, just draw a frame, put the drum on the middle.
So you're going to need it.
The engine.
You're going to need it so it's pinned there.
So, which is the best way forward? Let's meet the team so you can decide.
I just don't want it there because if we end up leaving the motor connected. I'm Dominic Jenkins. I'm 24 years of age. I go to Loughborough University at the moment. I do electrical and electronic engineering.
Hi, my name's Larry. I'm from Loughborough University in my final year of an MEng degree in electronic and software engineering.
My name's Tim Wood. I'm 21 years old and I'm in my final year of an electronic and electrical engineering degree at Loughborough.
Not too much.
My name's John. I'm 21. I'm at Loughborough. I do electronics and software engineering. I'm graduating this year and what I want to do in the future is a bit of a hard question at the moment.